Good morning, everybody, on a Tuesday, April 20th, 420, April 20th. Congrats, guys. Hope you guys had an awesome week last week. Diana, Deej, congrats to you. Thank you for running the show while I was out of town on the beach with my family for spring break. So thank you for running the show. But guys, we're going to jump into it today. We have a great conversation. I'm going to have a conversation with Jay Schmidt today, all around a lot of the noise that we've seen in the chatter we've had amongst our agents. And I want to pick his brain around defending commissions, around agent professionalisms, and how we can hold ourselves to the highest standards and ensure that you're maximizing your time value of money, right? So that you're maximizing the return on your time when you're serving with your clients. So I'm going to have a conversation with Jay about that. And then we got a bunch of stuff coming up on awards, fair housing, along with a bunch of other stuff. So we're going to jump into it right away. And first up, I'm going to celebrate cappers. Why? Here's what you need to know. When you cap at KW, did you know that you receive a 43% increase on your income? Think about that. A lot of people say, oh, I get a 30% increase. Wrong. 30% of 70% is 43%. You receive a 43% raise when you cap. So let's celebrate some people in the month of March. First up, she's been with KW since day one. She's part of the OG clan. Natasha Duvall runs a big business, has seen some incredible growth. And you know what the coolest part about Tosh? What I've seen from Tosh is a leader the last 2 to 3 years in leading her people like Jamie, like Andy, like John McLaren, like Brad Yates, Brewster, and the rest of the crew. Their personal development is what Tosh takes so much joy in. And so Tosh, congrats on capping in the month of March. Next up, this guy is a new dad. Him and his business partner are crushing it. They continue their wave of momentum, all while trying to manage a new little one at home. Chuck Hutch, congrats on capping in the month of March. Next up, this person, incredibly generous person of her time, always willing to give back to new agents, especially in the KW Innovation Office over in Tosa. Ann Kleber, congrats on capping in the month of March. Next up, this person, many of you knew from his days as the executive director of Camp Minneconne. Again, another person who loves to give back. And if you want to hear a hilarious story, go ask him about the home he sold next to a strip club. Totally random, but a hilarious story. John McLaren, congrats on capping in the month of March. Next up, newer agent, been at KW for about a year, joined a team, has had massive success, really pours into her clients, incredibly generous, really kind soul. Liz Mitchke, congrats on capping in the month of March. Next up, this person you can hear coming from probably 2 miles away. I've known him since high school, and his cars were the same. He drives loud cars, and he drives a big business, and he's an incredibly generous family man. John Molitor, congrats on capping in the month of March. Next up, another one of those agents that's been with us since KW first started in its infancy in the dining room. She graduated college. She surprised everybody and went and got her real estate degree. Katie Neville, congrats on your continued success and congrats on capping in the month of March. We got 4 more people to celebrate. This person, incredibly, I keep going back to generous. It's amazing to me the community and culture that we've developed and the people and the talent that we've been able to surround ourselves with. Amanda Schroeder, you continue to be incredibly generous with your time, talent, and energy and pouring into those new people and helping them set their foundation in the launch coaching program.
Doing?
Amanda, congrats on capping in the month of March. Next up, this person moved here from New York City, left a big corporate job, didn't know many people in southeastern Wisconsin, and said, you know what, I'm going to give it a go anyways. Julie Scott, congrats on your absolute continued success, and congrats on capping in the month of March. Next up, a family member, the guy kills it. I meet him on the golf course all the time, ask him about it. I took his money last week when we were down in Florida. Will Stale, congrats on capping in the month of March. And then lastly, out of the Lake Country office, someone who's just an awesome, positive energy, a huge Badger fan. And I want to give a shout out. Her and her family have started a company called Brock's 21. And for those of you who don't know, her son Brock has Down syndrome, and Down syndrome means you have an extra chromosome. You have 21 chromosomes, and so they created a company called Brock's 21 where they sell apparel and things that Brock runs, and it's an awesome apparel company. So if you want to support Brock's 21 and Down syndrome research and their foundation, check it out. Check out brox21.com to check it out. So Mary Beth Milkey, congrats on capping in the month of March. Awesome, guys. Congrats to 10 to 15 cappers we had in the month of March. Enjoy your 43% increase in income. And we love to celebrate people every single month, especially when they cap. All right, now I'm going to jump into a conversation with Jay. And Jay and I had a conversation about 2 weeks back, and we've just continued this dialogue around so much of what we've seen and heard, and the chatter that we've had on the airways. And to give a little bit of introduction for those of you who have yet to have the opportunity to meet Jay, Jay and his team last year closed 160 million in closed volume. All in southeastern Wisconsin. Their total team's gross commission income was 3.5 million. It's an incredible group of people who give back to their communities. Jay and recently his husband Blake got into the business. They have 3 kids, great people. Jay Schmidt, welcome to the KWT meeting on Tuesday mornings.
Thanks, Charlie.
So I want to jump right into it. One of the conversations and things that we've talked about recently is around defending your commission and some of the concerns you've seen around co-brokes coming in at 2%, and your kind of viewpoint and opinion on what that says is of our value within this industry.
Yeah, it's when you look at the market, there are times I love to search what's on the market down in Lake Geneva, and you see these 10, 15, $20 million homes, and you see 1% co-broke, 1.5, 2%. You also see a little bit out in Lake Country, and then dawned on me that, in the North Shore, you rarely ever had seen 2 point or less commission. We're always 2.4. And we're seeing it more and more, and we're seeing it with discount brokers or these little fly-by-night brokers that on a $300,000 listing, they're offering a 2% co-broke. And it makes me feel sad for them that they don't have any support in learning how to defend their commission. And I think, we have to be very careful in how we explain this. You can't do antitrust, but offering less than a 2.4 co-broke demonstrates your inability to negotiate your worth. And if you can't defend your commission, don't take it out of the agents, because it's a very slippery slope, and Keller Williams has market domination. So if enough of us started offering 2% or less, you know what, the market's going to become a 2% co-broke. So we've got to work hard to defend our commission. And if you can't, at least don't take it out of the co-broke.
Yeah, totally. Let's go into like how you handle right now in a hot market when people know that they're getting top dollar and homes are moving fast. How are you handling some of the objections, or what are some of the objections you're seeing right now? And how does your team handle it when you go into those listing appointments?
The comment of, well, everything sells. No, everything does not sell. And then there's differing degrees of success while selling. And it's not just price that you accept, it's the terms, it's the lender, it's the appraisal, it's the title work. I know my worth when I walk in the door on that listing appointment. I know what I offer to that seller, and not to sound cocky, but in my head, I believe I am the best agent for them. So through our half-hour to hour meeting, I'm going to convey what we do for them. You do get a lot of, well, the market's so hot, it's easy to sell your house right now. It's easy to get an offer. It's not easy to close with top dollar. Mm-hmm. And then typically, well, someone else, what's that again?
I just wanted to repeat that word. It's easy to get an offer. It's not easy to get top dollar.
And it's not easy to close. The acceptance of an offer is the first mile in a marathon. So we kind of lay that on the line. But let's also be honest. I think a lot of sellers ask the question, do you discount, will you do it for less than 6? That's that Midwest courtesy. Well, I got to ask for it to see. And we don't, on the first objection, we don't cave. After the third or fourth time we're discussing commission at the table, then it's going to get a more involved discussion. But 90% of the time when someone says, will you discount your commission? No, our results and our track record speak for itself. In the absence of performance and value, The only way that other agent is trying to get your business is say, well, I'll do it for less. So when they're discounting their earned income, what do you think they're going to do when they're negotiating on your behalf? They're going to roll over.
100%. In the absence of value, people go to price. And so when we're starting to see commission reductions or commission discounting within the marketplace, what it signals to the agent community is a lack of understanding to their true value. Right. And one of the other things that you guys do too is talk a little bit about, when you guys take a listing, you take it at 6% plus, right? You take 6% plus. Is it 695 for your team?
Yep, we do 695, which coming over to KW, my previous broker charged nothing. So that was a big move to go to 295. And then actually Janine and I at a family reunion listened to a team talk about it. So we immediately changed it. I think we sold, I don't remember, just 360 listings last year. I think less than a handful did we have to reduce or eliminate the 695.
Yeah, and when you go through that listing presentation and you're sliding the listing paperwork across the table, I mean, you've said this before, but just to kind of reiterate, very few people balk at that, don't they?
And if you have your script in place, so as we're going through the listing contract, and you rarely do it in person anymore with COVID, we discuss terms and then we leave and do it all electronically. But back in the days when you were signing at the table, my script is, and as we flip to the next page, we're 6% plus 695 commission. And of that, you'll see down below here, it's 2.4% that goes to the co-op, the cooperating agent. That's not on top of the 6%. My hand's on that page. I flip the page and keep going. There's no stumble. There's no nervousness. This is what it is. And knowing your client as we're walking through the house, or if you've been on the phone with them, you'll know what kind of seller they are and if they're going to really push you. I'll use an example. I had a beautiful property go under contract with my buyers this weekend, uber successful surgeon, and just listed his house at well over $1 million at 6% commission. Because when we were talking at the house, he made a comment about commission on the sale. I said, yeah, just as I'm sure someone's coming to your operating table, they don't ask you for a discount because you're the best, just as I am. Well, when that listing contract came over at 6%, they didn't balk.
Yeah. So much of when you're asking, or not asking, but when you're presenting your listing presentation and it comes to the presentation around commission, I go back to a couple of months ago, we had Dave Jenks on. Little quick plug, Dave Jenks is coming back Wednesday at 1. But Dave Jenks talked about the assertiveness Bill of Rights. And his commentary around the assertiveness Bill of Rights is when you're assertive and confident in your value and that comes off to your client, you have no problem with the commission that you charge. And people are human animals. And when their instincts raise and they feel a certain level of nervousness in your voice or your assertiveness, they know that they can take advantage of certain aspects of that conversation. And when you allow that to impede or allow you to get in between you and your ability to earn your income, that it has a big impact.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also it's that question of discount. Break it down to the numbers. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're looking for a 1% discount. Your house is $500,000. That's $5,000 that we're talking about in terms of commission. And I don't take that lightly, but you hire the wrong agent, the first price reduction you're going to do is 10, 20, 25,000. A negotiation on home inspection can be tens of thousands of dollars if you don't have a bulldog for you. An appraisal issue, those are all things that are going to cost you far more than $5,000. So I've got all those things and my team have all those things handled easily.
Totally. Cool. Any other conversations around commission, objections, or defense?
No, I think, just know your worth. And if you don't walk in the door feeling that you're the best agent for them, you're going to have a hard sell protecting that 6%.
Well, and guys, what I would also tell you too, is if you're going into a listing conversation that you feel as if commission could be a question, do not hesitate to pick up the call. We are happy to connect you. Jay will pick up the phone and talk to you. Rick Rubin, Maureen, Natasha, Andy Stillman, so many people, Bruce, Karen, so many people are willing to help you talk through what that conversation can look like. And if you feel uneasy on what it looks like, reach out. Well, phone a friend, as the old Regis Philbin used to say. Phone a friend and we'll get you the help you need to help you defend your commission. All right, next up, Jay, I got another question for you. it's the market's tight. We've talked about this with many other people. More people have written more offers this year that they have not gotten accepted than they have in any other year. Any sort of tips, tricks, insights, or strategies that either you're seeing when people are writing on your listings, or on the other way when you're helping people buy, in terms of some of the things that you're helping strategize with your buyers to win in this market?
Sure. I had a hot listing this past weekend. We reviewed offers Sunday night. 8 offers came in. 3 of the agents, not a follow-up message, not a call, not a discussion about the offer, just plunked into my inbox. 2 of the 8 great agents called. Jay, I've got a couple questions. It was a condo, so again, they wanted some questions about an assessment, and those 2 agents asked a lot of questions. Their offers came in beautifully. If you're writing on condos, guys, get the condo docs ahead of time and remove your 10-day condo doc review. That's an easy 10-day out for a buyer. And in this hot market, sellers don't want to give any out. The lenders you use, we had the strongest offer was not the one we went with because it was financed. The other ones weren't, but the bank that they had was not a good bank. And I explained that to my sellers. Work with your lender to see if they can waive appraisal up front. We've got a lender that checks. So those are the things. And quite frankly, then it came down to the 2 best offers. Both agents had good conversations with me without being, pardon my French, a pain in the ass. We get a lot of agents that blow up our phones. How many offers do you have? How many offers do you have? Do you have any offers yet? I'll tell you when we get an offer in showing time. But if you're blowing, and quite frankly, up until we reviewed offers at 5, up until 1:30 on Sunday, I had 1 offer in hand. They all come in right at the end. So I'm not going to rush out and reach out to every agent and say, oh, by the way, we have 6. Oh, by the way, we have 7 now. Guys, assume you're in competition. Don't annoy the listing agent. And again, I pick up the phone every time someone calls and I will answer their questions, but I also don't believe in betraying my seller's trust in protecting their best interest. And whether it's, and I love to ask it, I don't know if it's 2 or 20, is that going to affect the offer you write? Because if you really think only 2 offers and you're going to write a less aggressive offer, well, your buyers probably aren't going to get it. So really, you're the face of your buyer's offer. Be nice, be polite, communicate with the agent. If the agent doesn't pick up their phone, just shoot a text. Hey, I'm writing an offer. Let me know I had offers that come in with just this bad close date because they didn't call and ask me any questions. So communicate well with your co-broke, be positive, and sell your clients.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, and you've talked about this a ton as you've taught, over the years, is your relationship with your co-broke is so vital. And one of my concerns that I'm seeing in the market right now is so many people are, let's just say, trashing other agents because their lack of professionalism or this, that, and the other. Guys, you got to be really careful around the way in which you interact with your co-brokes, because as Jay just said, I wrote this down, you are the face for your buyer's offer, and your co-broke relationships are vital. So yes, there are terms, there are things in which you can do within strategies of the offer, but don't get it twisted. Your relationship with the listing agent is almost as vital as what you write within the offer. Cool. Mm-hmm. Any other, let me ask you this too, any sort of strategies that you've been or taken with being proactive with buyers, like just knowing like, hey, listen, it may take us a few offers before we get something accepted. How are you guys approaching that proactive conversation?
That's exactly it. We talk through it ahead of time. We lay the groundwork in a positive way. Guys, interest rates are low. The Metro Milwaukee area is on fire. We're seeing some great growth. It's going to be a challenge. There's no 2 ways about it. So if they haven't written an offer lately or they're a brand new buyer, they get a copy of the offer to purchase ahead of time, because we all know we're scrambling to write this offer. And if you don't explain right to cure and what the risk is of having no appraisal contingency and all these, if you're at the time you're writing an offer talking about all these really risky moves that some buyers have to do to get a property, it's malpractice. You're exposing your client to liability. So we educate our client ahead of time. Then ultimately it comes down to is not have fun with it, but be positive with it. I had a bottle of wine for a client and I said, okay, take this with you. You're either going to drink it to celebrate or you're going to drown your sorrows. And most likely I got a case in my trunk that it's going to be making it your way. You know, you gotta just lay it on the line. But if you're negative and the market sucks and this is brutal and this is awful, yeah, your clients are going to take that same approach. You know, it hurts. It hurts when I wrote a $71,000 over asking price offer cash with an escalator $105,000 over asking price, and we didn't get it. That was like a kick to her teeth. And it was, you know, when I told her, it was super quiet on the phone. I was quiet for that half a minute with her. And I said, it wasn't your house. We got to go find out we got to find the right house. We got to find the right gem for you.
Yeah.
And she was very upset. You know, tears were shed. And then later she texted me, she goes, you're right, we'll find it. So be positive, but educate your clients up front. Get them comfortable with how aggressive the market is. And don't do something you're not comfortable with, guys. If you're going to waive your contingency or home inspection and you don't have an extra 20 grand in your savings account, do you really want to do that? Have those conversations up front. Get it in writing if your client's going to waive their inspection, because, you know, I'm sorry, one more example, hopefully not too long. I had a client go way over asking price cash, did an inspection with not asking for anything 20 grand or less in repairs. They loved their house, but it was still wow, look at all this stuff we got to fix. And this is how we got the house. And we talked about it up front, and then we talked about it again. Just getting the house, they're excited. And then after that, if you haven't built the understanding of what your client's going to go through, they're going to be mad at you. They're going to be disappointed in, you know, you don't have power in this market. So we got to give as much power as you're comfortable giving to the seller.
Yeah. Proactive education up front. Time is not your friend in this market. And if you're educating your buyers through the process, during the process, your time is going to kill you. Right. And making sure that you're educating them throughout the process. So you're level setting expectations throughout. Totally. All right. With the last two things to finish up the conversation. One, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole on this one, but because it can easily be a rabbit hole, but professional standards, right? And some of the things that we're seeing with our co-brokes. Just some of your comments that you've seen out in the marketplace. And you know, I would go back to how to win in today's market, right? Misery loves company. We can't be the misery, right? Just commentary around professional standards and what we can hold ourselves to in order to set the standard within the marketplace.
Complaining attracts complainers. You know, on our team around our office, we aren't a group of complainers. It hurts. You got to sometimes talk through a problem. But I think the other thing is just the level of professionalism. You know, writing on a property, not hearing anything and seeing it go active with offer, or showing feedback. Communication. You know, agents that don't communicate when they have a listing because they feel like they have all the power, it sets a bad tone. Don't negotiate on text. Pick up the phone. This is your client's biggest form of wealth building. If you don't have the time to pick up a phone and have a business conversation with the co-broke, wow, that's tough. And then just be positive. That's, you know, and again, I think we have great coaching and training here. I'm happy when I see offers come from KW agents, because I know for the most part, we all are on the same page.
Totally. And the biggest thing here, guys, is, you know, complaining equals garbage magnet, to use the old bold phrase, right? And it is what it is. So we just have to hold ourselves to a higher standard and set the pace with the market share that we have in the market. And we will raise the level of professionalism within the marketplace. And guess what? If it's one of our own, we're only as good as what we tolerate. So if it's one of our own, hit me up, hit Diana up, hit Paul up, whoever it may be, and we're happy to have a conversation. But don't, you know, misery loves company. Don't be a part of the misery. All right, last thing, profit share. Tomorrow you will see everybody gets their profit share. For those of you who are receiving it, we're going to have a little bit of a presentation on profit share in a little bit towards the end. But here, guys, I want to give you a little bit of insight into Jay Schmidt and his profit share. Since he's been at KW, he's made over $100,000 in lifetime profit share. His year-to-date earnings in profit share so far in 2021 are up 135%, and he's seen the number of people increase in his profit share tree by 38%. Two questions for you. One, what has profit share done to you? And two, how are you intentional around it, and why is it a focus for you?
You know, 3 kids going through college. That profit share money has certainly made for a nice nest egg for them to go through college and graduate without debt. 5 more years and then we'll be out of that rabbit hole. So that, honest to God, has changed our life. I've already got plans for when there's no kids in college and what that money's going to go towards, but we won't talk about that. And then I've never thought of it as recruiting to get someone in my downline to make money off of profit share. It's to surround myself with good people. Leanne Pluster from the Pluster Property Group out in Lake Country, we worked together years ago in corporate. Saw her listing, or we talked. She's the freaking bomb. So we had a conversation about what she was doing with her business, and it's growing. So suddenly a good business conversation turned into Diana and Charlie, showing them the value. It's easy to recruit when you know you're at the best place to be. Yes, I get recruited. I get calls all the time to get recruited. Yes, everybody wants my volume, but I think KW is the only place that wants me to grow as a business owner, as a coach, and as a mentor. So there's no, I see that unrecruitable. I'm never going to, leave, but I'm not recruiting someone to get money on profit share. It's to bring good people to the organization that fits into culture.
Totally. Well, thank you, Jay. We appreciate your time and pouring into our group and sharing some of your insights in today's market and helping people overcome some of either objections or how to just, stay focused and forge forward in a tough market, in a tough environment.
Absolutely. Just remember, we're all commission based. If we weren't busy, that's when you start complaining.
100%. Busy is a blessing.
Yes.
Busy is a blessing. Cool. Well,
right.
Thank you for your time. Thanks for jumping on. All right, guys, we're jumping back into it. Upcoming trainings and events. What do we got coming up this week? As a reminder, every single week, Julia and Sydney send out the upcoming live streams. And guys, I'm going to hammer this home because there's so much good content, almost 4 hours a day on KW Connect. And every time that you see this, know that all of this is hyperlinked. So feel free to jump into these live streams along with the stuff that we provide locally. It's a great way to layer on your training and education. Couple things coming up this week. As I said before in my conversation with Jay, honestly, one of my, in my opinion, one of the best speakers we have ever had is Dave Jenks, who is the author of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. He is presenting to our group in Milwaukee this week, Wednesday at 1 p.m. It is 1 hour of what I call the meat and potatoes. Guys, it is something you don't want to miss. 1 p.m. on Wednesday, The Secrets of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent with author Dave Jenks. He is a phenomenal resource. He's happy to come and present to our group in KW Milwaukee. One other thing on this week, Friday, Maureen and Friends, which is the invite-only group for masterminding, is on Friday morning at 10 a.m. And then I am hosting this month's KWYP Lunch and Learn, and we are going to go over to KW Innovation in the TOSA office. So 11 o'clock, if you'd like to, be on the lookout for an RSVP for KWYP. All right, Lindsay Vranick, Tech Tuesdays. What do we got coming up with opportunities and zip forms?
All right, so if you have closed 0 transactions, if you've closed 50 transactions, and you just want to learn some more about the opportunities applet within Command and zip form, we're going to be covering best practices today. So naming criteria, how to upload documents for compliance within the opportunity, what to do if an offer falls through. So just to learn all of the ins and outs of this applet. And also how to send offers, the accepted offer, how to send the offer comparison to your clients. So I'm going to be going through all of that in person. And then also talking about zip form. So how to draft documents, how to send out for signature, how to set up the MLS Connect that I went through last week on team meeting, and also where to find the clause library. So this is a great opportunity. If you're brand new, if you just want to learn some more about this whole process, come to training today. It's in person. So it's in person today at 1 o'clock at the North Shore office. And I'm going to be doing the same exact training out in Lake Country on Thursday at 11 o'clock in the upstairs training room. So half hour after productivity coaching. So you guys, this is a really important training. So if you are unable to attend, reach out to me for a one-on-one. I love to sit down with new agents just to walk through this entire process. because as a lot of people have said, don't practice on your clients, practice beforehand. Make sure that you know this process before you have your first transaction. So again, I highly, highly stress coming today or Thursday or just reaching out to me for a one-on-one on this topic.
Guys, speed kills, and if you're slow to the pace in how you adopt your technology, it could inhibit your ability to get a deal done. All right, Amanda Schroeder, what do we got coming up for this Tuesday, 10:30 with launch coaching?
All right, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
So launch today, we're talking about something that is very basic, but can really bulletproof your transaction, or at least set your buyers up for success. So it's best practices for showings, for what you're doing at an inspection, and for final walkthrough. So those times that you're in the home with your clients, what you should be doing, what you should be thinking about, how you should be approaching it, and how you can set your clients up for success.
Cool. And I don't believe Janine is on today, but reminder, Thursday morning from 9 to 10:30, productivity coaching with Janine and Connie, and they always host the lead generation corner. So if you have no idea where to start your business, it's a great way to help you diversify your lead generation tactics. Thursday mornings with Janine and Connie. All right, cool. Couple other things, updates for you as it relates to tech. Commissions tab, a handful of people have reached out and they have noticed that their cap contribution is showing 0% and an actual of 0. It's a known bug within the system. Know this, that we in the back end of our accounting system always know where your caps are at. So no worries there. Our commission processing program is the ultimate authority and knows exactly where you're at in your cap. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Jen and Emily within the MCA's office, as they are happy to serve and help you guys with whatever questions you may have. Cool. All right, Steph, this month is Fair Housing Month. April is Fair Housing Month. Give us some insights as to what we need to know around fair housing yet.
Yes, you guys, we're continuing to celebrate Fair Housing Month, so thank you. Last week I had highlighted what the protected classes were under federal law, and then under Wisconsin, and then under our local ordinances. And I just wanted to highlight a few things around disability, as it's the most common protected class that's cited in fair housing cases, and just highlighting the most common issues that we would probably run into when servicing our disabled clients. So next slide, Charlie. And then just defining again a person with a disability as defined by the Act. So individuals with mental or physical impairments that substantially limit one or more major life activity. The term mental or physical impairment may include conditions, but not limited to, such as blindness, hearing impairment, mobility impairment, HIV infection, cerebral palsy, alcoholism, drug addiction, chronic fatigue, learning disability, head injury, and mental illness. Next slide. So in our practice, I think the most common situation that we're going to run to comes into, I think, homeowners associations, condo associations. And then I wanted to highlight a couple tools that we have at our disposal when servicing our disabled clients. So when it comes to HOA associations and reasonable modifications, just a reminder that housing providers must permit the modification if the tenant or owner, and the tenant or owner is responsible for paying the cost of the modification. I think there's a lot of confusion around at whose expense these things have to happen. So just as a reminder, this is at the cost of the potential buyer or a tenant, but we must get approval from our HOAs. A person may make a request for a reasonable modification at any time. So an individual may request a modification of the dwelling at the time that the purchase is being discussed. So as we're looking for condos for our disabled clients, if they need to get in touch with a homeowners association at the time that they're making considerations, they can make those requests of the board prior to an accepted offer. So just a reminder on that. And then under the Act, again, the provider cannot deny or restrict access to housing because a request for reasonable modification has been made. That would be a violation of the Fair Housing Act. All right. Now I want to just highlight a couple of tools, the accessibility features reports that the WRA has issued. These are found in zip forms, and they're to be completed by the buyer or the seller. When it comes to a seller's accessibility features report, a seller can fill this out, and it kind of acts like a real estate condition report. They're not making any representations around this, but it serves as a checklist for sellers to list accessibility features around their home and provide as much information as they can that could be helpful to those who are seeking handicap-friendly homes. So if you are listing a ranch home, for example, you might want to bring this up to a seller. Like maybe there is features about this home that would be helpful to somebody who's looking that's in a wheelchair. We can load this into MLS documents as well. And I just think would be a great tool or great for someone to have ahead of time while they're searching for homes. On the flip side, stay on the slide, Charlie. Buyer's accessibility features report. So when you're working with a buyer, you can use this as the buyer can give you this checklist and communicate to you what needs they need and what's most important to them when they're looking for a home. And you don't have to guess, so you can use it as a checklist as you're seeing homes as well. Like, does it have this? Does it have that? So, and then again, they can prioritize architectural features that they find desirable. Next slide, just showing you what they look like. So again, they're found in zip forms. And then here is the accessibility features report that a seller can fill out and we can load into MLS. And then the next one is just highlighting the accessibility report for a buyer. And again, just showing what's important to them. So please use these when you are working with your disabled clients.
Cool.
Then, go ahead.
No, you're on.
All right. And then I just wanted to put in another plug for the Fairhaven simulation training. It is at fairhaven.realtor. The WRA just highlighted it again last night in our emails. You're issued a certificate afterwards. I know that Sarah Jo Dietrich has taken it already. I would love for you guys, as a small way to help celebrate Fair Housing Month, to take this. It takes about an hour. Really, really valuable. So just wanted to plug that again.
And we will make sure that we send this out in the weekly Insights and Resources email that goes out at the end in the afternoon of team meeting. So
thank you.
Steph, thank you for highlighting this. It's in my opinion, in our industry, oftentimes overlooked, and there are many resources available at our disposal around providing education or information for especially accessibility features or what buyers potentially may be looking for. So thank you for bringing many of this information to light in Fair Housing Month in the month of April. Cool.
Thank you guys.
All right, next up, last week, Diana was gracious enough to run through some lore in the state of the industry and where we're at versus the KW's performance and everything that you guys are doing to absolutely crush the industry, despite the headwinds that we've faced and some of the difficulties that we've seen. And with that, though, it's time to celebrate some incredible people who've had some incredible results, not only in the month of March, but so far year to date. So here we go. The Kentucky Derby is about to start. So March Home Run Club, what does this mean? It means you took one listing taken, one contract written, one contract closed. This is your ability to get paid now and get paid in the future. This is what I call success, because these are people who have sustained success, right? It means they're getting paid today and they're getting paid next month. So handful of people I want to shout out. Elena Zeman, congrats on the doorsteps of baby number 2 and continues to crush the industry. Amy Lauer, keep killing it, sister. DJ Frisch, I see you. Liz Meyer, All right, I see you. Come on, Gail Zeman, JOC, Jamie Old Coyote, who thought she couldn't quite pull it off as an agent, is crushing it. Don't let you, she is absolutely killing the game. Jesse Cambrillis, new agent, doing big things. Katie Neville, congrats. Kristen Schlingman, Nicole McGonigal, Sarah Mundi, Shauna Knight. Awesome month of March. Congrats on getting paid and getting paid in the future to ensure your future success. All right, $1 Million Month Club in the month of March. These people, they just crushed it out of the park. Handful of people I want to shout out. Annie Stabler, just killing the game. Connie Cummings, she's just doing her thing. Desty's team, Grapevine Realty, John Lorenz, John McLaren, who just capped. Lauren Foy, I see you. Jay brought up Leanne Plooster of the Plooster Property Group, having a killer month in the month of March. Maggie Drain, Molly Triggs, Naomi Bryant, shout out, welcome to KW. And who says your business needs to go down in the middle of a transition? Naomi Bryant, welcome and congrats on $1 Million Month in the month of March. And then rounding it out, the Zeman Group, congrats. And Will Stale, congrats on $1 Million Month. All right, Lake Country, Deej, I'm flipping it over to you for the individuals.
All right, you guys, this is super exciting. Top 3 March volume earners. Annie Stabler, always at the top here, 3.1 million. John Lorenz, close at her heels, 1.3. And Matt Lozanecki, a name we don't see up here often, but I think we'll see it more and more. Super excited about that. Now let's look at year to date. John Lorenz, 3.3. Annie Stabler, 3.1. And Connie Cummings making the list with 2.2. Year to date, you guys, you control your units. John Lorenz at 12, Connie Cummings at 6, and Jennifer Thornton showing up with 5. Great job, you guys. Love it. Here we are with our team award. March volume, Team Trimble, 1.5. Cluster Property Group, we've heard your name, Leanne, over and over and over again. You're killing it, 1.3. And Bark River, 1.1. Congratulations, ladies. Nice to see you up there, too. Year-to-date volume, Gallagher Lake Country, 9.8. What do you do about that, right? Team Trimble, 3 million. Cluster Property Group, 2.7. And units, Cluster Property, 12, 8 and 6. Nicely done, Lake Country. Love seeing this. Great work.
Congrats, crew. All right, here we go. March individual volume across North Shore and the Teb location. John Molitor killing it in the month of March at 2.7. Joey Carini, I see you, brother, at 1.5. Naomi Bryant, again, congrats at just under 1.5. Tammy Herpel, Simonis, Oberbrunner, Andrea Curvello, just under $1 Million Month. And Liz Meyer, big shout out at 720. All right, here we go. Year to date, individual units. Molitor leading the pack at 17. Fetting right on his heels at 15. Schweppe rounding out the top 3, right? As Diana just said, the market gives you volume. Agents control their units, control the controllables, and what you can control is your units. Here we go. Year to date, individual volume. Molitor leading the pack at 4.5 with shout out to Big Peter G. Peter Gossman at number 2 at 3.8. Nick Fetting, 3.2. Tyler Stanley at 2.7. Brian Schweppe rounding out the top 5 at 2.5. And then, shout out to Sophia Berry at 2.2. All right, here we go. March team volume. Shout out to Falk Reuben Gallagher, 11.6 mil in the month of March. JSG 9.6 right at their heels. Stale Realty Group 5.3. Big shout out to Houseworks Collective 2.8. And Marcus and Casey Lopez just doing their thing. On Point Realty Group 2.8. Shout out to that crew. And Aki Home with Amanda and Liz Mitchke, and Liz 1.0 and Liz 2.0, 1.7. Here we go. All right, year-to-date units. Again, agents control their units. Market gives you volume. JSG leading the pack with a big 75 units so far closed year-to-date. Big question I have for JSG. Are you going to round out 365 plus units this year, a unit a day? There's your challenge to round. Last year you did 367. Let's make it happen. Shout out to Kristen Cole Network, led by Kevin Gardy and the crew with 21 units so far year to date. Lindsay and Jeff at 15. Desty's team at 14. Congrats, guys, to the top 10 units year to date. And then here's what you see for total volume year to date for the teams. Shout out to Corey Bolton, her team at 4.9. Again, Corey, keep chasing them. Keep taking those listings from Firefly Sister. We got your back. Dusty's team at 5 mil. And you can see the rest of the top 10 here from a team's perspective so far year to date. All right, so what happens? We talked about this. Tomorrow is the 21st, and throw in the chat section what happens on the 21st of every single month. The 21st of every single month. What happens? Profit share payments are made. And get this month, in the month of April, paying out for March transmittal, we had 58 associates who made more than $100. Shout out to Manny Patino at $266, Julie Litkin at 150, Laura Brewster at 350, Megan Casey getting her first profit share check at $100, Elena Zeman 152, Jen Thornton, I see you sister, at 237. Hildy frickin' Becker at $400 and Katie Monteblano at $446. Congrats, guys. Here we go. Next up, the group that made 500 plus, there were 26 people that are getting paid $500 or more. Aletha Champagne, $844. Kathy Riley, $694. Newbie at $600. Tony Spot, who retired in December, got $500 this month. Bruce Gallagher, congrats, at $870. Katie Tesmer at $540. Nicole McGonigal at $590. Then we had 8 people who made north of $1,000. Big shout out to Connie and Dusty Lorino at $1,800, Karen Trimble at $1,400, Natasha Duvall getting her biggest profit share check ever at $1,000. Same thing with Shauna Knight at $1,200 and Katie Brumder at $1,100. Congrats, guys. And then we got that next crew, that 2,500 plus. There were 6 people. To highlight a few, big shout out to Rick Rubin and Katie Falk at $2,500. John Molitor taking in the cheese at $3,400. Janine at $3,300. And Jay Schmidt, we just talked about what has profit share done for him. Oh, he made a cool $4,100 towards his kids' college education in the month of March. And then we had some big swinging. We had some people who, 5 people made north of $5,000 in the month of March. So guys, congrats on the profit share. Check your bank accounts tomorrow morning on the 21st. It's incredible because we're giving away $103,000. It was a 247% increase. And so far, year to date, we're just shy of $200,000 that's going to get paid out. So if you want to learn more about this profit share game and what it means and how this impacts people's lives, we're here to help you understand it. Reach out to myself, Deej, anybody on the leadership team, because we're here to help you and serve you. All right, guys, wrapping it up, giving you the market insights. And I saw something last week when I prepped these for Deej. And here's what I know. The spring market is popped. How do I know it? Look at the showing activity. Again, orange is what happens in 2021. Blue, again, was 2020, soft comps there. But again, look at when you compare to the distance that we've really separated the gap of 2019. I mean, people came back from spring break and they are ready to buy a freaking house. Here we go. What's going on with sales absorption? So the percentage of inventory that goes under contract, this is the truest indication of demand. Last week, again, another week, we hit a peak. It's the highest mark in 2021. 17.3% of the inventory went under contract. When you look at units that went under contract, there were 664 units that went under contract. It was the highest so far for any given week in the year of 2021. Now, when we look at new inventory units, here's what you need to know. A little bit of a dip last week, but again, 1 week is only an anomaly. 2 to 3 weeks is a trend. 588 new units. We've had, if you look at the last 3 weeks, we have averaged over 550 new units every week. That's very positive. That's very healthy. And if you look at the net of those new units that came versus those that went under contract, our net was positive for a total of 134 positive units to total inventory. Again, it's all positive momentum. We are here in the spring market, guys. Be ready. When we look at total inventory, again, total inventory bottomed 2 weeks ago. What this tells me is I know the bottom in the inventory that we've seen so far is 3,795 units, which happened the 3rd week in March. The fact that we are seeing now 2 weeks in a row of 3,800 that was north of the 3,795 means that we are starting to see small incremental gains. It's not going to come back all at once, but we're seeing small incremental gains to total inventory. So guys, it is Tuesday, April 20th. That is your team meeting for the week. Lake Country crew, I'll let you shoot over to the Lake Country meetup. North Shore crew, I'll convert over to new listings and buyer needs. Guys, congrats on a killer March. All right, here we go. Ooh, a little tickle.